Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from Town Hall from April 8th, and this is going to be filed in the category of things that are really going to piss you off. It says, Biden admin allegedly suppressed report linking service members to early COVID outbreak in Wuhan, and I'm sure we're going to see one of those stupid wiki notes on this video, so I'm going to say hi to that now. Don't know when it'll show up, I'm sure it will, but let's go ahead and see what happened here, because, again, it should piss you off, because this just kind of falls in the category of course this happened to me, Well, I mean, it didn't happen to me, but of course this happened, in my opinion. I felt like this was just going to be a duh sort of thing from the Biden administration, but let's see what it says. It says, in another troubling revelation, the Biden administration is facing scrutiny after reports emerged that it allegedly suppressed a crucial document suggesting that U.S. service members may have contracted COVID-19 as early as October 2019, possibly in Wuhan. The report, which could have far-reaching implications for the timeline of the pandemic's origins, were reportedly hidden from the public eye, sparking concerns over transparency and accountability within the administration. It says, according to a 2022 report from the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness, heck of a job title, the report examined the number of United States athletes and staff who attended the 2019 World Military Games and became ill with coronavirus disease 2019, which is COVID-19, of course. So it became ill with those COVID symptoms or COVID-like symptoms during or shortly after their return to the United States. The Department of Defense, or DoD, confirmed that 7 U.S. service members who attended the 2019 World Military Games exhibited COVID-19-like symptoms between October 18, 2019 and January 21st of 2020. However, symptoms could have been due to other respiratory infections, and all 7 service members recovered within 6 days. It's kind of funny, because I always thought, because I remember before last summer, when I'm pretty sure I had COVID for the first time, I didn't get tested, but I was fine in like 2 days. But on Thanksgiving of 2019, I remember that weekend. It was a 4-day weekend, and I remember on that Wednesday, because I was thinking I got nothing to do that weekend because my family is just in other places. I'm going to sit around and just veg for 4 days and just sleep as much as I possibly can. Well, on Wednesday, I remember my throat kind of felt a tickle, and I was like, oh, please tell me that's not going to happen this weekend. And sure enough, I was laid up the entire weekend with just a horrible cold. And I remember thinking after COVID came down a few months later that I was like, did I catch it like really early? But it just didn't seem to fit the timeline. So I'm wondering if now maybe that might have been it back then. And that's probably why I didn't catch it again until, if assuming that was it, until, last summer. It was like late last summer, probably mid-August when I had it, like around the time Deadpool and Wolverine came out, because I planned to go see that with my older nephew and had to cancel it because I had COVID. But anyway, that's just my personal anecdote there. I don't know if it really was or not, but again, I see those dates and I'm like, maybe that's what I had, because I do not get sick very often, and those are the only 2 times I've been sick in the last 5.5 years at this point, or just what I just mentioned. So anyway, let's continue on with the article instead of my dumbass. It says, the Biden administration was required by law to release the report to the public more than 2 years ago. And of course they didn't do that, because why would they? They just didn't follow the law whenever they wanted to. So of course what it says, they failed to do so. Instead, the report was not made public until the Trump administration uploaded it to the DoD's website. It says the report challenges the Biden administration's 2021 statement, which asserted that no service members contracted the virus at the games. U.S. athletes traveled to and from the event on chartered flights from Seattle-Tacoma International Airport in Washington state, one of the first days to experience a significant COVID-19 outbreak. The Senator Joni Ernst, Republican of Iowa, criticized the Biden administration for failing to release the report. Of course they didn't. Why would here, if you're the president of the United States and you're supposed to be protecting your citizens from things, like, why would you keep this secret? I think this is more evidence that Joe Biden was on the take from China. But anyway, yeah, that might come out. Who knows? But let's see what this last paragraph here says. It says, taxpayers deserve to know the truth about COVID-19 origins, but the Biden administration concealed this information from the American public for years, Ernst told the Free Beacon. This report should have been made public immediately and not restricted to Washington insiders. If Americans visiting Wuhan were potentially infected with the COVID-19 virus in October 2019, those claiming the pandemic began in a wet market just 2 months later would be completely off base. And we know they're off base already. The CIA has come out and already said that the origins of COVID were not in a wet market. It was in the lab there. So the lab leak theory, or they said the lab leak theory was the most plausible explanation. So I'll believe the CIA before I believe, who was it down there again? or just anybody who believes the wet market theory. Yeah, sorry, even though I'm not sorry, I'm not a fan of the CIA, but I'll believe them over the wet market people, because it just always seemed like the most likely option. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this. So what do you think about this? Please let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.